So you've probably seen the news about a class action lawsuit involving Veterans United home loans. And if you're a veteran who's ever used a VA loan or plans to use it in the future, you should care. Because whether you use them or somebody else, what's being claimed in the lawsuit affects anybody using their VA benefit. But before we unpack everything going on, here's a quick note. If as you're watching this, you're thinking, I just want somebody to take a look at my VA loan terms and make sure nothing's weird. Book a call with me, no obligations, just clarity. All right, let's break this lawsuit thing down. This lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Missouri and is being brought by a group of veterans who finance their homes through Veterans United home loans. So here's what the lawsuit is actually alleging. First, it claims that Veterans United misled veterans into believing that the company was somehow affiliated with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. That's important because some veterans make their decision on the lender based on trust and on the idea that it's the VA's lender, or it must be structured in my best interest because they specialize in VA loans. But the lawsuit says that Veterans United is a private, for-profit company who is unaffiliated with the VA and operated by people who don't even have military service records. Second, the complaint explicitly alleges that there was illegal steering and kickback practices occurring. The plaintiffs say that Veterans United had a network of affiliated real estate agents and that those agents were allegedly required to steer borrowers towards utilizing the Veterans United home loans. And in return for this, the company received a substantial portion of the agent's commissions, up to about 35%, without disclosing that fact to the buyers. That's significant because the Federal Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, or RESPA, prohibits steering and it prohibits receiving payments not connected to the closing of the loan itself. It's not just arguing about names or marketing. It's alleging that veterans were pushed into loans that may have been more costly, but have higher interest rates, or have less favorable terms, simply because of the way that the referral and payment structure work. The lawsuit is also seeking treble damages, meaning 3 times the amount of alleged harm, plus attorney fees, plus injunctive relief, which is a fancy way of saying that they want the court to stop whatever practices that they find to be unlawful. And the group believes that this could affect hundreds of thousands of borrowers who financed through Veterans United since 2020, because the complaint covers anyone who used them in that period. Now, let's be extremely clear about this. Veterans United denies these accusations and says it looks forward to defending itself in court. And that's standard. Most companies will typically do that when something like this comes up. But regardless of how the lawsuit plays out legally, what's happening right now does matter because it highlights a larger issue about how VA loans are presented, marketed, and understood by veterans. And I know something about this personally. When I bought my first home, I was not in the mortgage industry just yet. So I used Veterans United because I assumed that they knew what they were doing. Well, my loan officer at the time quoted me 3 different interest rates when I went under contract on a home, and each of them came with a different cost or credit. One option came with a higher rate, but I was supposed to walk away from the closing table with an $1,100 check in my pocket. Now, due to my financial situation at the time, I probably shouldn't have been buying a house anyway, but that money would have helped quite a bit. But that was the deal, right? Closing day comes, and not only did I not get a check, I was asked to bring money to the table. When I confronted my loan officer about this and asked for what changed, it turns out that he literally just forgot to lock the interest rate in. And instead of honoring the original structure and owning his mistake, the lender applied a credit to zero it out. So I walked away with no benefit, just a higher rate and no promised payoff. At the time, I didn't know how locks, credits, or costs actually worked, but that experience taught me something vital. The name on the website or the size of the brand does not protect you from misunderstanding your own loan. And that's basically what these lawsuits are bringing into focus. If a company's name suggests government affiliation, even subtly, veterans may assume that the best possible terms come standard. But the VA guarantee is separate from lender pricing, separate from rate structures, and separate from referral practices. The VA guarantees the loan if you default. It does not guarantee you the best rate, and it does not guarantee you marketing accuracy, and it especially does not guarantee how agents or affiliated services handle referrals. So, here's the practical takeaway. If a lawsuit alleges that a lender is steering clients into more expensive loans or that they're failing to disclose how referrals are affecting the pricing, that's a huge deal. And it's not just for legal reasons, but for veterans' financial futures as well. Now, I'm not here to throw stones, and I'm not here to say every loan from Veterans United is bad. And I'm especially not here to predict the outcomes of upcoming litigation. What I am here to do is help you understand what this means for you. So number one is don't assume that a lender's reputation is the same as oversight. Number two, don't assume marketing equals government affiliation. Number three, don't assume you're getting the best terms without comparing. And number four, you don't assume you understand your loan until you verify key details in writing. Because the difference between an interest rate, a credit, and your long-term payment can be thousands of dollars over the life of a mortgage. If this has you second guessing your situation and you just want to make sure that your VA loan structure makes sense, book a call with me. I can walk you through your documents together before you go to the closing table. Worst case scenario is everything checks out. Best case is I can catch something that could save you years of money, whether you decide to work with me or not. Either way, that's a win. And for anybody watching who used Veterans United during this time period for their home loans, if you feel uncertain of whether this lawsuit affects you or not, this video is about empowering you, not fear mongering. Lawsuits happen every day in every single industry, but veterans deserve clarity instead of confusion, and every benefit, especially one as powerful as the VA loan, needs a caddy. And sometimes that caddy protects you from a bad swing before you even take it. I'll see you on the next hole.